When your sister had all that money, she wanted nothing to do with you. Now that she's broke, all of a sudden she's moving in.
She's not just broke. She's all screwed up.
Love, you know? You hear me?
Excuse me. Are you talking to me? Congratulations. It's a wonderful picture, a great performance.
Thank you.
Can you talk about getting cast? I believe I saw Louis C.K. and he said he was up for your role, you know, and he went in to read for your role, but then, you know, you got it. Can you talk about meeting Woody and getting cast in the project?
Well, when I got the call, I thought it was a joke that he even wanted to meet me. And so when I finally was in the office and I met with him, and, you know, he doesn't tell you much. You know, he goes, would you read a few pages, you know, which is what I was there for. I go, yeah, sure, but can you give me something to go on? And you know, he's going, well, you know, he might smack his wife around, he might be a drunk, and this guy is none of that. You know, but he puts you in a certain mindset that when I even read the pages, you're feeling like the type of guy this is, you know. And once we were on the set, you know, he sort of, you know, Woody does his directing mostly with his casting, is how I feel anyway. Like as he's writing his scripts, like he sort of sees who he wants to do those roles or the type of person he wants to do them. So, yeah, I mean, you know, and Louis C.K., who I'm friends with, is great, and he called me up and he goes, you know, I read the role. Woody goes, I'm not tough enough, I'm not, you know, but Louis' funny because he's always picking on himself, you know, in real life, you know, which is funny, you know, but phenomenal, you know, and I loved him in the film too. He gets one of the biggest laughs in the film. You know, I mean, he's just so awkward and funny, you know, I just love him.
You choose losers because that's what you think you deserve, and that's why you'll never have a better life.
How was your rapport with Woody? Because I always hear that, you know, he doesn't give you a lot of input, and people are like, I'm going to get fired. You know what I mean?
You know, we would talk on the set, but not about the movie. We would talk about stand-up comedy, how we started. So I felt very relaxed around him on the set. You know, he understands what I do as a comic. I understood what he does as a comic. You know, and comics, I can't even look at Woody like a comic because he's one of the greatest filmmakers ever. But he knows about stand-up because that's how he started. So he has a lot of trust in comics. You know, he had, you know, like even in Louis' part, Louis really made something out of that part because he's a comic and he knows what the camera's picking up. For me, it was different because I was challenged in a way that I haven't been dramatically before. And I really just wanted to show up and do a great job because I'm like, if my mother, you know, has passed away, but if she was around, she'd go, look, Woody Allen gave you this part, don't show up and play around. Learn the part. You know, and that's all I just wanted to do a good job for him.
I remember I lived in New York in the 80s, you know, huge then, and we haven't heard a lot from you in a while. Just, you know, where have you been, and can you talk about your memoir?
Well, you know, this has, you know, been a pretty, you know, big resurgence since Entourage has went on the air with me in the last season, and it's been a build, and that's why I call it a resurgence, because for many years I was gone. I would work, I always worked, but I wasn't making career moves. I went through a divorce. I brought up my 2 sons, which was, to me, my biggest accomplishment because I'm like, if I'm making career moves and nobody's watching the kids, what good is anything? So once I decided to go after my dream again, my own personal dream, you know, a lot has happened. I mean, leading to this movie, which I can't believe the attention it's gotten. It's overwhelming to me, and now, you know, a book is coming out through Simon & Schuster, an autobiography I'm doing with David Ritz writing it, and it's called The Filthy Truth. And it's a very exciting time again. You know, I have to tell you, it's really exciting. Doug Ellen is doing a Dice documentary movie that we've started on, who created Entourage. So a lot is going on at this point. And, you know, I'm just very grateful for it. I'm very humbled by doing a movie like this. It's the kind of role I always saw myself doing, or one of the kinds of roles I always saw myself doing.
Well, it's a great picture. I think everybody agrees.
Well, thank you very much.
She doesn't care about you. She's a phony.
Can you please not fight in here? Don't think I can take it. For some reason, my Xanax isn't kicking in.